Testing, testing. Just getting things up and running here. I have a pretty funny setup when it comes to a desk and Didge. The desk is actually on wheels, so I can move it around. But then I like to find ways to prop my Didge up to the side so you can actually hear it. Hopefully that's coming through. All right. I'm just getting things up on my side. Do people see the video, which is just showing the breathwood information there? Whew, out of breath. Let me know if you're seeing that. What I'm seeing on my end is that it will begin in a few moments, even though I'm the one broadcasting, so that's pretty funny. Well, as we get that figured out, I'd like to welcome you. Thanks for showing up for the third live Didge chat. It's super exciting to me to have you here, and really exciting to be able to have the chance to offer more about my passion. Today I have a bunch of things in my mind that I'd like to share. One is this idea of throat circular breathing, which has led me to this idea of internal and external circular breathing. Another one is working on the snare sound while playing didge. You know, it's one thing to go or without the didge, but what about doing it in the didge to add some different flavor? And then there are a few other rhythms I'd like to share just to give you a bit more to play with and some things to think about. And then of course I'm super excited about the course. I'm still developing it, and it's still discounted because it's in creation, so it's still a great chance to jump on that. So I'm just gonna poke around here and see who's with us. I'm getting, let's see. So yes, I'm live. I'm just trying to get it set up on my end here. Can you see it? On the YouTube side of things, it's definitely working. So we might need to jump on over there. This might be a failed experiment. Oh, show the chat. Yeah, looks like we might need to bounce on over to okay. We're gonna need to bounce over to the actual YouTube stream, which is totally fine. I thought this might be fun and something's not working. So here is the link. Go to that link instead. For those of you over on YouTube, go ahead and just hang tight. That's going to be the place to hang out and watch today. And Kim over on YouTube is telling me the link in the email didn't work. Shucks! How did I mess that up? I do have a link here that I can share with you guys, and you can take a look and see what it's doing. But when I look at it right now, even though it was working before, it's just sitting here. Nothing's happening with it. I'm going to reload it on that site so I can try it one more time. Nope, it says the event will begin in a few moments, and we've already started, so that's cool. Yeah, so jump over to YouTube. Aha! That's better. Awesome. I'm going to get off camera just for one moment so I can take one more look at this. I need to somehow direct folks over from that other chat to YouTube. Would anyone like to be a sort of quasi-moderator and like to click over to that other chat window occasionally to see if anyone's sitting there wondering what's going on? You can just post that we're on YouTube and post the link. I'll post it there myself as well. Yeah, the chat feature definitely works better on the other side. So I will have to continue troubleshooting that. You know, I was actually thinking of doing another live chat in another 1 or 2 weeks, so by then I should have it all figured out. Okay. Let me switch back here. Okay, take two. Welcome again. Now that we've got a few of you here on YouTube, we can move along here. I'm super excited to talk about this concept of internal and external circular breathing. So if you're interested in hearing about that right now, give me an okay or a yes or a thumbs up. You can just do that in the chat window. And then we'll get started with that. I'm taking a look over at the other chat too to make sure I'm not losing people. People here now. All right, looks like we're good. Okay, so internal and external circular breathing. It's a bit of a subtle concept, and it's not really something I can say is real. It's more of a mental shift, although the mental shift does make a difference in terms of the muscles of the mouth and throat. So external is pretty funny now. When I look at myself playing in earlier videos, oh my gosh, my cheeks moved so much. It was basically like this. They feel like a balloon and feel quite floppy. Now they feel less floppy because things have actually tightened up a bit. But before I started working on this about 2 weeks ago, it was like Louis Armstrong, but frog style. If you can imagine Louis Armstrong's cheeks on a frog, you know, just puffing in and out all the time. One thing that's interesting about that is it actually softens the sound. I don't know if you can hear this. It muffles the sound a little bit. It softens it. It's a little bit weaker. Hello, Sandra, Kim, Nick, and a few others. Thanks for joining. We're just talking about internal, external circular breathing. So the cheeks are really moving a lot from the outside in. I expand, it really feels external. I'm really pushing from out here around the cheeks to pull them in, out, lots of movement. One side effect of that is I have to really isolate between the lips, between, you know, in the opening of the didge and the cheeks, which are going nuts on the outside. So then I started to just work on pulling that in and shifting a little bit between chewing, so jaw, circular breathing. But that was still too much movement. You know, the jaw, I don't want my jaw actually to be chewing any more than I already chew during the day. These muscles here are quite tight, so I don't necessarily want to build those more. So I'm looking for movement inside. Can push with the tongue, the big fat meaty part of the tongue in the back. That's getting closer. That's still not the throat. And after following Didge House for a while, I was trying to do his version, which was this. It's like saying ga inward, or just glugging water. That sort of worked. But I noticed in the moment that I went to glug, from open throat to close to open again, there was a little push right before. You hear that wah. So I figured, why not just focus on the push and not worry about the glug. And it turned into that. The motion is a lot like going ang, 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 ang. Try that. Ang, 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 ang. Then see if you can do it without voice. Then breathe in. So out your mouth. really wide open, and then in your nose. So that's what's happening inside. Let's start with that. Are people getting that? Where are you guys at with that motion? Is it feeling like it works? Can you feel your throat? Are you getting any pressure? How does that feel? That feedback would be awesome, actually. I'd love to know how many of you are actually trying it, because there are going to be benefits beyond the throat. This has actually taken me into other territory, thus the internal and external circular breathing idea. We're getting there. Can you do the throat? Let me know in the chat. By the way, I also tried to set up a Google Hangout live so that we'd be able to join each other on video. But there's something wrong with Google services where they won't necessarily connect between my YouTube and my Google Plus account and create a Hangout. It wasn't all verifying and setting up. So I'm troubleshooting that and looking for other ways that we can join each other. I would love to be able to have you guys pop up in a little window and share a bit of your own playing. So hopefully that's coming in the future. So back to the throat. So I'm just going in terms of my motion. Is that making sense to everyone? I'm not seeing any chat messages popping up right now, so I'm just going to trust that it's all good and I'll keep going. This is why we need to update our system. So then, while playing, I start to work on the smoothness of going drone, squeeze, drone, squeeze. And at first it's a little bit weak. Might sound like that. It works with both. Still downloading coffee. I love that comment. Yeah. No pressure is a big issue with the throat. And here's the thing, I think there's less pressure with the throat than the cheeks. The cheeks can hold a lot of air, they can squeeze really hard, and so you can create quite a bit of pressure and a long squeeze for a long breath in. With the throat, we have to shorten how much we're breathing in. Take really small sniffs, even smaller than before. And if we speed it up, it actually gets easier. Here's how I reached my breakthrough. Here's when the throat started to work. I was actually going about this fast. Feels like aerobics or working out in the gym. I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna keep trying, I'm gonna get it. That was me, building my bicep. Hey, how long have I been streaming? We've just really been going for about 15 minutes. Welcome. And I'm talking to Mayor right now. If you want to share who you are and where you're from and how long you've been playing, that would be awesome. And we're talking about internal, external circular breathing, throat circular breathing. For this technique, a didge with good back pressure. Yeah, these are all really good tips. I'm using a didge that has what I would actually consider medium back pressure. My didge with the most back pressure is actually really hard to do this on. because, as Nick just said, it's nice to, was that Nick? Yes. It's nice to use as little air as possible. So I'm not blowing into the didge like this, as hard as I can or as loud as I can. It's actually quite soft. It's like just letting the air out. It's very relaxed, actually. So, with such small amount of air moving and smaller sniffs of air, it doesn't take much to keep the pressure going. And in fact, it starts to shift from a squeeze feeling to just maintaining a little bit of pressure while I breathe in. So it's pretty quick compared to something like the cheek in breath. If you're used to taking long, slow breaths in when you circular breathe, then the throat's going to feel really weird. So something else started to happen when I shifted my attention to the throat. The practice of keeping the cheeks pulled in made them stronger and more sensitive. The practice of moving all these muscles, the back of the tongue, the throat, the pharynx area, the uvula. I wonder if we can flex our uvulas one day. That strengthened things. So now it feels like I can actually circular breathe from the inside of my cheeks with them pulled in, squeezing just a little. I honestly feel like the inside of my mouth as one unit is squeezing a little bit. Another way of looking at it is that to breathe in, you have to close your throat. So if you just think of breathing in, and you've practiced the throat enough, it'll work. It'll do the work for you. It'll create the pressure for you. All you need to do is breathe in. So if you want to play rhythmically, use the throat. If you want more time to fill, if you want to play more smoothly, then use the cheeks. I'm going to look at the chat window. It's pretty small on my screen, so that's why it looks like I'm getting really close here. So, slide didge is great, Sandra. That totally works. One nice thing about the slide didge is that you can tune it to better match your playing style. So if you tend to be really tight in the lips, tune it higher. If you tend to be soft in the lips, tune it longer. If you want more back pressure, smaller and higher. Slower and meditative, longer. From Germany, the time right now is 9:22 a.m. Pacific. 2.5 years of playing. Awesome. Yeah. And Nick's saying when you learn to calm down, you use less air. Totally. Any tips on training coordination? I'll get to that. Awesome. So, awesome. We got some German going in the chat window. I love it. Oh, you want to know about the didge from Dan Flynn? Okay, so we'll get there. Let's start with the training coordination. Have you ever tried to pat your head and rub your belly? I'm going to rub up nice and high so you can see it. It feels really weird at first. But once you get it, it kind of just clicks. I can pat and rub. I can probably even switch pretty easily. And that's because I've created those connections. Before those connections are created, it will feel like there's actual resistance physical resistance in your nervous system. You probably know this, working in physio. So the resistance comes from your body and nervous system trying to create new connections, and it's hard. It's hard to form new pathways. So in learning this, in terms of the coordination, it's good to do it both slow and fast. So really get clear mentally on the coordination, what's going on. The mouth is filled with air. Air is passing through it all the time, so you've got the air. One thing I can say is to make more of an all, like an all shape in your mouth. All, oh. Like close your lips, the front of your mouth, and then try to say oh. There's a big feeling in there, for now. All you have to do when you breathe in is breathe in and squeeze. And they actually take care of each other. When your throat is open and you want to breathe in with your nose, with air going out your mouth, your throat has to close. That's this exercise. If all I think about right now is breathing in, when after I've been blowing out, the throat closes automatically. That's the squeeze, that's the pressure. So then it becomes breathe out the mouth, breathe in the nose. That's it. And trusting that there's enough pressure there. So play softer, play with less air, and then go blow out the mouth, inhale through the nose. Small bit. If you're losing pressure like this, what that means is you're breathing in. What does that mean? It means you're losing pressure. The throat needs to close a little sooner, that's all. So it's kind of 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Blow, close, breathe. Blow, close, breathe. Blow, close, breathe. Really fast. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Is that making sense? You found us. Didgeridoo Owl. You found the link. Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Sorry it took you a while to figure out how to get here. I'm just going to read some of... Oh my gosh. One always needs to be told even if you know it. Yes, 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 yes. I'm seeing a few more comments about relaxing. Great. Make sure you sit up straight. Super important. Make sure you sit up straight. Make sure your shoulders are dropped. We know this most of the time, but it's good, it's good to be reminded. I'm turning right now because of the computer setup, but when you're playing, if you're a front mouth player, face the didge. If you're a side mouth player, turn your whole body. Turn your whole body so you are aligned, and then play. That makes sense? So keep everything in line. Stay straight so you have lots of room in your torso. And don't play with your head turned if you can avoid it. So that'll help a lot with relaxation. And then many people are mentioned use as little air as possible. Let me just double check this. Hello from Germany. What time is it in Germany? I guess it'd be similar to Sweden. Is that 9 hours ahead? 8, 9, something like that. I'm just going to switch over to an image of, let's see what I want to put up here. Here, go like my Facebook page. I'm going to grab that didge that I got from Dan Flynn, designed by Frank Geipel. Oh, that's not my Facebook page. That's my course. I've got a bunch of didges scattered around here, and one being asked about is Dan Flynn built but computer designed. I'm super excited about that course. That's why I keep sharing it, by the way. I can't wait to get some feedback. I have a couple of people testing it out right now. And it's just a place for me to add all of my tips and knowledge and techniques. So I hope to get more people visiting it. In the meantime, here is the computer design Didge. So it's quite interesting looking because it's got this long wavy shape to it, and it is designed like this to actually be built on a specific scale. It's in D, it's quite a big D, and it's a Turkish gypsy scale. We'll see if I can show you the mouthpiece here. It's a drop octave style mouthpiece like Will Thorne designs. I'll put my finger next to it so you can see the dimensions. I don't have a measuring tape or ruler with me here. So definitely wider than tall. I'm finding this to be really low back pressure for the throat breathing stuff. In terms of height, it's taller than I am, so it's about 6 feet long. And then I've got limited room to move it around in here. And then here's the end. Not a huge bell. About half my hand width. Flattened on the bottom just so it doesn't roll. So here's how it sounds. So that's the basic drone, but then it has 3 really easy toots. So it goes from D up to D sharp, an octave and a semitone, A and C. And there are a couple of false toots in between that I'm not very good at playing. What this Didge is so good at is sliding between the drone and the toots. And it can get going really fast as Dan plays on a rhythm like takawaka. Like it can get really quick because it's so smooth and because the back pressure isn't super intense. I would say it's medium-ish. I have a eucalyptus Didge which is way more intense to play and it's tiring. So I haven't played around with this much lately. I've been enamored with this other Didge of mine that's made the throat stuff really smooth. So that's the computer-aided Didgeridoo design Didge by Frank Geipel and Dan Flynn. Let me know if you have any questions about it. Any thoughts on front-side mouth playing? So that's one good question. I will answer that one. When you learned to circular breathe, you only kept your lungs half full of air pressure. Yeah, I think 3/4 full, half to 3/4. Never too much, never too little. So you always have enough air, but not too much. Networking new ideas, better understanding of Olaf. Yes, we will continue with the throat stuff. So in terms of front or side, I say do whatever feels good to you. Both are great. You know, one of the great players, Andre Smickel, plays from the side. He does amazing things with it. And a lot of great players play from the front. So play wherever it works for you. Jaw breathing. You can get to jaw breathing. Yeah, this Didge does some cool things with the vibe, as you call it, partly because of that scale. Because all of the toots are in tune with each other, they're not kind of random. And the way Dan Flynn plays the false toots, to me, sounds like cello. If you look at Dan Flynn Indigenous, the way he plays it there, it sounds like a cello. When I was there, I couldn't believe it. I was hanging out, don't remember what I was doing, and suddenly I thought I was hearing someone playing cello on the stage, and I looked over, and he was playing a didge like this. He was playing his version of it, and I was just blown away. If you want to hear the false toots, my version is pretty flatulent sounding. That's it. You know, if you play in a resonant room, it sounds much better. But that's a basic idea. So then it's D, A, C, D sharp, A, C. So those are all of the some of the false toots. There are more in the natural toots. Okay. How much was the didge? You guys want to know how much this didge was? I paid $1,000 for it. And it was shipped to me from Utah, where Dan was living at the time. Okay, let's go back to the throat and the jaw. So there's a point when one is trying this over and over that it feels like this. It really just feels like this inside the mouth. Just like a little lung going in and out, in and out, in and out. Pressure, breathe, pressure, breathe, pressure, breathe. Relax, using less air, and it's just this little bounce, this little, it recoils. It's like it happens on its own. So what started happening for me in practicing this was tightening up the shape of the mouth, reducing the amount of space in the mouth. So if you think of E, oo, like bring the jaw together, keep the cheeks in, just let the tongue sit flat for now, make things small, and then see if you can do the motion. I'm a didge teacher for a living. I wish. I would be a didge teacher for a living if I had more students, Skype and in person, and if I had a bigger audience to sell the online course to. Then, realistically, I could actually start to live off of it. One of my dreams is to be paid to travel and teach. I would love to come visit any of you and teach workshops. So keep that in mind. So with the jaw, I've made the space in my mouth smaller. Just explore what that means for you. Make a big space, make a small space. The smallest space is with your teeth totally together and your tongue filling your mouth. But make a small-ish space. Let your brain know that the tongue is involved in squeezing with the throat. The tongue is connected to the throat. You can't get away from using the tongue a little bit. So back of the throat, ong, 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 ong. It's like you're going nga. So English would be the ng sound, like sing, ing, nga, nga. For those of you who speak German or other languages, do you want to put in the chat what kind of sound it is for you? Or is it the same? So while you're working on the throat, you've got the squeeze. We're going to add the G sound. The G sound is super, super important and helpful. If you can't do a clear or articulate G, 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 this will be harder. But if you work on G, G, this is the G, 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 you'll be strengthening the throat. I used to be pretty bad at it. I used to have a lot of trouble with the G. I almost couldn't make a G when I first tried it. I was into taka, just further forward in the mouth. Doing something like G was almost impossible. It stopped the flow. I can't do it poorly anymore. Sorry. So G. Go slow, speed it up. When you make the sound G, you're practicing moving the throat. It's the same? Okay, great. So with the G, I'm going to go G, squeeze with the throat. G, squeeze, G, squeeze, G, squeeze. Or G, G, squeeze. G, 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 G. I love it. I don't know how easy or hard this is seeming to all of you guys, so speak up if you have any thoughts on that. So now there's the jaw. Someone asked about that. I start to use my jaw a little bit just to help things along. You can see my jaw start to move sometimes. But here's the thing about the jaw. Moving the jaw isn't actually what creates pressure. There's no pressure here. You can close your jaw and have no effect on the pressure. It's just like closing the front of the teeth. Just like a trap door. No, just like a castle gate. Just like whatever that is. You could close your jaw and not affect the pressure. You have to squeeze from the inside with the muscles and the flesh of the inside of the mouth. So closing the jaw is from the back to the front. You guys are typing a lot. I love it. Bit like the Dutch or Danish guttural sound. Cool. You guys are answering each other's questions. All kinds of hardwoods are great. This one from Dan is made from ash. That was basically the cheapest hardwood he had access to. This crazy didge is made from pine. The builder's from California, and he said this end was actually splayed open. It was burned and splayed open like tuna fish, he said, and he had to soak it in water and squeeze it back together. And it's been heavily varnished to hold it together. It's one of the smoothest playing didges I have. So yeah, that's pine. Quite a cool piece of wood. I had it propped against a wall one time and it fell over and broke in half, and so I sent it back to him specifically to get it fixed, and that was pretty pricey. He fixed it for free, but the shipping was about $300 total there and back. So don't stand your didges against walls. Unless you play with an open drone, then draw controls pressure. Yeah, I'd really explore that. I would suggest exploring that. The jaw can move without doing anything to pressure. It can be just a matter of teeth opening and closing. Pressure is controlled by the tongue and the fleshy parts of the mouth. I can chew on the didge while not affecting pressure at all. I have, students I've tried to teach jaw breathing to, and they've started chewing and gone, this isn't working, there's no pressure, I can't breathe and I can't even feel what difference it's making. It's all about the throat. The throat closes when we breathe in. The throat squeezes in the moment before we breathe in. The throat is always involved. So building the strength of the throat will help you in every way. What's my current goal as a didge player? It's so perfect you asked that. Check this out. I actually wrote up some goals earlier. These were my first goals back when I started. Have a private lesson. I did that. Learn to play. Notice that's a pretty vague goal. Pretty general. Learn to play. Back then it meant make the drone circular breathe and maybe have a couple rhythms. And then my third goal is to get really good. The problem with a goal of getting really good is that there's no end in sight. One can get good for the rest of their lives. And if I compared myself to other players, especially the really good players, it was really discouraging. So getting really good wasn't the best goal. And for the first 3 or 4 years of playing, I was a perfectionist who wanted to be good but was never satisfied. Even when I learned a really cool rhythm like Taka Waka, which I'll share in a little bit, even when I learned that, it still wasn't good enough because it didn't sound as good as I wanted to or as good as other people. So that was interesting. Here are my new goals. I decided I needed to commit to 10 to 15 minutes of playing every day, at least. And that's a minimum. If there's not enough time in the day, then I need to get up 10 or 15 minutes earlier to play. Of course, sometimes sound is an issue with neighbors. I have some neighbors upstairs, and I'm trying not to bug them so much, so it's not always the easiest arrangement. But for the most part, I meet my goal of playing 10 to 15 minutes every day. I wanted to improve my speed. That's an example of getting good. To be specific about the thing I want to be better at. I could just as easily say I want to learn new rhythms, a new rhythm every day. I want to create new rhythms. Other goals could be I want to play longer, 5 minutes at a time, 10 minutes at a time, without stopping. Another goal could be to make circular breathing silent. There are lots of goals around getting better. So another goal became to learn throat circular breathing. And I've at least got my version. I don't know if I'm getting Olaf's version yet. He has a totally different sound. And then recent goals have kind of happened on their own. I want to be able to teach people around the world. I want to share my love of didgeridoo not just with people in my town and city, but everywhere. And that seems to be happening. So that's super exciting. Thank you everyone for being here. And then another bigger goal is to get paid to travel and teach. I was once flown to Edmonton in Canada to do some lectures at Concordia University of Edmonton. And I played in a I played in a classical concert with a bell choir. There were pieces written for didgeridoo and bell choir. So if you can imagine something like 20 bell players, each with a big set of bells, playing these different compositions, and there I was, this didgeridoo player, playing in my first ever classical music concert. If you look for my SoundCloud account, Breathwood, you can actually hear one of the samples. So those are some of my goals. Yeah, so Kim, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time decided. So what about you? What are your guys' goals? What goals would you like to set? You know, I'm actually going to show you something else. I don't usually show this sort of thing. Let's see if we can do this. I'm going to pick up the camera and just point it at my wall. So it's okay if you can't read it. But basically, I've created this visioning wall. And so over to the very far side, there's a cloud of ideas. Then I've organized them into categories. What are the visions I have around home, self, connections, income, activities, dance. I also do dance and didgeridoo. And I've started creating a timeline of those things. I haven't gotten very far yet. And so having these things actually listed on a board, on a wall, is super helpful. It's a really good reminder. So my challenge to everyone watching right now is to write down maybe 3 didgeridoo goals, specific ones, as specific as you can get. Put it on a piece of paper, put it on a wall near your desk or your bed or your nightstand or your dresser so you can see those goals every day. I'll do the same. I'm going to put more work into my goals, make them more specific. Where do I want to teach and get paid? What else do I want to learn? Where do I want to perform? And I'll put those goals up too. Cool. So let's go back to, actually, let's look at some rhythms. Go ahead and thinking about your goals. Write them down if you'd like, or save it for later. I want to share some rhythms and how I think about rhythm, at least one of the ways. So one of my favorite rhythmic pieces is tu-wah-ha. If you say it in rhythm, it goes tu-wah-ha, 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 tu-wah-ha. You breathe in on the wah. Tu-ha, 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 tu-ha. On the didge, it sounds like and looks like this. And I'll use cheeks for now. We can also do it with throat. The tu we fill with air, the wah we squeeze and breathe, the ha is just a breathing out. Here's what it looks like without the cheeks. You won't see much. So tu squeeze ha, tu squeeze ha. So that's a pretty fast rhythm for me at this point. It can get even faster. But then, what about, I was thinking ha tu wah, but what actually works better is hit tu wah. Hit tu squeeze, hit tu squeeze. That one is harder for me. So suddenly I've taken a rhythm that's pretty easy at this point. You might still be working on it, that's cool. And I've switched the order around to see how easy it is, what it does to my playing, and see how it can stretch me. And it feels really different. Whereas tu-wah-ha really just rolls along. Hit tu-wah, I really have to try. It's just a little snippet that's kind of separate. it sounds different, which is nice. It's nice to see hear the variation. So then what about switching between them? Tu wah ha hit tu wah. Let's see. That sounds cool. That's actually taking me somewhere new. What I realized is that my circular breathing pattern while I'm playing is often very regular. To breathe ha, to breathe ha, to breathe ha, to breathe ha. But now this was to breathe ha, hit to breathe. To breathe ha, hit to breathe. Woo! Tingles me up a little bit. My brain gets such a tingly, excited, happy feeling when a new, interesting rhythm starts to click. It's hard at first. It's like, can't do it, can't do it. Oh my gosh, I can do it. Yes! So that's tu wah ha, hit tu wah. Any questions about that? Cheek wobble versus jaw wobble versus throat wobble. Okay, we'll look at that. Dan's gypsy performance was super inspiring. That was an amazing performance that has stayed with me forever. Multi-drone. Multi-drone is different than normal playing. Where do I travel? Are you asking me where I travel, Sandra? I barely traveled, actually, just around the States and to Thailand. I played soccer in England when I was really young, but I haven't gone to Australia yet, or Europe, or the rest of Europe. I definitely want to travel to more places. Takawaka da? Takawaka da? Any other rhythms like that? I have more rhythms, yes. Next. We're going to take tu wah ha and just add a ha on the end. So tu wah ha ha, tu wah ha ha, tu wah ha ha, tu wah ha ha. I started to play around there at the end. In regards to the question about cheek, throat, and jaw wobble, they all work. They all consist of fill with air, squeeze. That's what creates that wobbly sound. So there's the cheeks. It feels big and floppy, but Termite Sunny, or there might be another player, Didge Monster, has a really small cheek wobble, so I know it can be tightened up. More like that. Jaw wobble. Fill, squeeze, fill, squeeze, fill, squeeze. Throat wobble, invisible. Oh, you can actually see my throat moving, can't you? All super useful. And like the tu wah ha, all of them can include other sounds. So you can go fill, squeeze, ha with any of them. Hopefully that's answering your question somewhat. Let's go back to those rhythms. Tu wah ha ha. So then I thought, well, what about going ha ha tu wah? The tu is a really easy place to add emphasis on the beginning of the phrase. Tu wah ha ha, tu wah ha ha, tu wah ha ha. But what about ha ha tu wah, ha ha tu wah, ha ha tu wah? By the way, here's another tip when it comes to practicing a rhythm, especially when it's written down and you're learning it for the first time. Give your body and give the rhythm some emphasis at the beginning. So on the first one, tu wah ha, tu wah ha, tu wah ha, tu wah ha, tu wah ha. Say it louder, move your head down, snap, clap, tap, whatever you have to do. Tu wah ha, tu wah ha, tu wah ha. Keep going at it until it clicks in your brain. That will help. The other rhythm, tu wah ha ha, tu wah ha ha, tu wah ha ha, tu wah ha ha. Or tu wah ha ha, tu wah ha ha. You can break it into sections where you have a downbeat. Tu wah ha ha, tu wah ha ha. This is going to be really helpful for one of the next rhythms I'm going to show you. Tu wah ha ha, tu wah ha ha. Okay, so let's switch the order. Here's the rhythm again. Ha ha tu wah. So then if we put them together, I haven't done this yet, I'm going to try it anyway. Tu wah ha 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 tu wah. There we go. So that's tu wah ha 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 tu wah. Whew, pretty fun. Throat looks busy. Okay. I really love that you guys are talking to each other in German. That's super awesome. Super, super awesome. So, I'm going to go back over here before we go to the next rhythm. Where is it? Somewhere in here. There it is. This is what my Facebook page looks like. My goal, we were talking about goals, my goal is 200 likes in April and 300 likes in May. I mean, that's a bigger goal, but that's okay. So look up Breathwood on Facebook. I already reached my YouTube goal of 600 subscribers for April. I'm hoping for 700 in May. I don't know if that's possible. It would be possible if beautiful, amazing people like you shared and spread the word a bit. But yeah, go on over to Facebook at some point. Look up Breathwood. Click like. I do post videos and events there. I posted information about this live chat. That's an easy way to stay updated. When I get videos of shows, I'll post there. I do play with the World Fusion bands with 2 hung players, someone who built something he calls a Persian tennis racket. I play didgeridoo, native flute, percussion like the udu, jaw harp, and other things. Sometimes we have a sitar player. We have a Chinese zhang player, or it's, if you look at how it's spelled, it looks like guzhang. She's absolutely incredible. And the picture there on the page right now is from a sound journey with 2 other musicians for a fundraiser. So unfortunately there was no video. That's the one picture we got. So that was quite awesome. I'm holding a slide didge from Australia there, made by Scott Dunbar. He built the didge that Didgeridoo Avoca plays. You know what, if I'm ever too promoty, just tell me. I really like to share everything I'm up to. I like to get you guys involved. I'd love to have a community where we can share a little bit more in real time, on a day-to-day basis, so maybe a Facebook group. I do have a Facebook group for students, but it's secret right now. Maybe it needs to be public. Nick, you're left out? What? Why do you feel left out? Hung and Didge is awesome. Yeah, Hung and Didge is really good together. Let's go to another rhythm. Let's see. Well, there's Taka Waka, which I learned from Dan Flynn. Taka Waka. It kind of works more like Taka Waka, because you need to fill on the ka to then squeeze on the wa. Taka Waka, Taka Waka, Taka Waka. This is how fast I started learning this rhythm, way back about 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. It's hard to play slow, but it's good to play slow so you get the articulation on every sound. So taka waka. Can start to go that fast with practice. The interesting thing about Taka Waka is that Dan didn't just show me Taka Waka, he showed me Taka Tootka, which means he was doing an in-breath toot. Taka Puka. This isn't something I've practiced much. It requires a whole other level of lip strength to push together strong enough to get the toot on the in-breath. Your didge will affect how easy this is. This didge is a pretty easy toot. If it's a big, wide eucalyptus didge you're playing, if the toot's harder, this is harder to do. But for now, I'll just do Taka Waka, and then let's flip it. Waka Taka. Waka Taka. I think that's what I wrote down. Doesn't really matter, but let's just double check. Waka Taka. Taka Waka. Waka Taka. I just varied it there. Waka taka waka dee, waka taka waka dee, waka taka waka dee. I'm going to try taka waka waka taka. Ah, the waka for me is a slow wobble, so I might need to change it to taka tuwa waka taka or something like that. Nope. If I were to try that, I would change it to taka tuwa tuwa taka. Taka taka tuwa tuwa, taka taka tuwa tuwa. The possibilities are endless. Can I say some more about Toots? Toots. Well, Toots are a tighter buzz. So here's the buzz for this ditch. And that's the buzz for the toot. So it's not about blowing harder, it's about squeezing harder. And it can also help to tuck the lip underneath a little bit. And then it's tighter for the higher toots. Depends on the didge. It might be a lot harder or easier based on the didge shape. Okay. And the different trumpets, yeah, just higher and higher pitches. Can't do this one. Ah, I was trying too hard. So those are the different trumpet notes. Most ditches will have one that's somewhat easy comparatively, a second one that is usually reachable, and then 3 and 4 and 5 get to be a lot more difficult, and it's just tighter and tighter lips, like playing a trumpet. So that's with the trumpets, the toots. Let's look at another rhythm. I'm hoping you're liking the rhythms. I was inspired to share some written down today so you could see what's going on. This one. I think I use this one a lot. Let's talk through this one. Now remember, even if you can't play the rhythm in the didge, you can say the rhythm, and that will get you there. So the to the power sign, that up arrow, that is breathe in. So the first 2 beats, 1, 2, would be go, gi, gi, go, gi, gi, go, gi, gi, go, ge, ge, or ge, ge. It's actually more like ge, ge once it gets going fast. Go, ge, ge, go, breathe, ge, ge, go, breathe, ge, ge, go, breathe, ge, ge, go, 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 ge, ge. So, go, ge, ge, go, ge, ge, go, ge, ge, go, ge, ge. This is kind of the square, the straight part of the rhythm. So the go breathe is interesting because you really are fitting it into the space of one beat. The go opens your throat, go. And then the breath is a chance to squeeze with the throat or whatever you've opened. If you're using your cheeks, you have to open your cheeks on the go. So that would look like this. I'm using my throat, so it looks like this. You could use your jaw too. So that's the first part. Go, 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 go. Now, I gotta find this one again. It's actually really hard to write down. I'm not quite getting it from before. That's interesting. This is a really natural rhythm for me, but as soon as it's written down, I lose it. It's not perfectly even. It's not perfectly square on those numbers. I don't think I quite placed those right. Go, 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 go. Oh, the numbers aren't lined up right anymore. Ah, that's why. Interesting. I think I wrote down the wrong rhythm. Shucks, let me just check another one here, see if it changes. Nope, same thing. Oh, I'm trying to play this rhythm to the rhythm of the very last one. Let's get back to this. Now I think I got it here. Go, 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 E. That's it. Go, 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 E. Awesome. This has just taught me that this notation is hard to use, or it's actually easy to use if I'm not trying to play a different rhythm. So go, breathe, gig, go, breathe, gig, go, breathe, gig, go, breathe, E. That's it. Awesome. Got it back. Is my go similar to a diaphragm push? No, it's actually a g. I'm actually just going g. You could go ho, ho, he, ho, he. That's totally fine. Yeah, you could just diaphragm push it. But I'm going go, gig, go, gig, go, gig, go, gig, go, gig, go, gig, go. So this go, go, go is also very useful. I find the go provides a lot of nice articulation. Here it is fast with just the throat. It's a real workout for the back of the throat doing go, gig, go, gig, go, gig, go, e, go, gig, go, gig, go, gig, go, e. But it's really worth the work. Slower again. So what I can do with this, go, gig, go, gig, go, gig, go, gig, go, go, gig, go, gig, go, gig, go, gig, go, go, gig, go, gig, go, 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 gig, go, gig, go, gig, go, e, go, gig, go, e, go, gig, go, e, go, gig, go, e, go, gig, go, e. go, e, go, e, go, e. I basically take the different building blocks of the rhythm and mix them up in different ways. So if the whole rhythm is go, gig, go, gig, go, gig, go, e, then I can shorten it in half. Go, gig, go, e, go, gig, go, e. I can go, e, go, e, go, e. I can flip things, gig, go, gig, go. It's just shifting things around and rearranging them a little bit to make it interesting. And then sometimes I do this thing which is a bit syncopated. Go, gig, go, go. And I think that's the last rhythm here. Do, di, do, e, do, e, do, e, do, di, do, e, do, e, do, e, do, di, do. So, do, di, do, e, do, e, do, e, do, e. Yeah, so this one is interesting because some things happen on the numbers, some things don't. So, do, di, do, whoa, do, di, do, e, do, e, do, e. Oh my gosh, I gotta play that. It's so funny. Maybe just ignore how I wrote it. Wow. Let's start with the first half. Do, e, do, e, do. Do, di, 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 do. All the do's are in breath, are they? This is hilarious. Do, he, do, he, do. Do, breathe, di, do, breathe, e, do, breathe. Do, di, do, e, do. Do, e, do, e, do. That's a good part. Yeah, I've placed the numbers a bit wrong. Do, di, do, e, do. You guys with me still on that one? Thanks for joining us. Thanks so much for being here, Mayor, Meyer. Do I combine oscillatos with the didge? You know, that's really funny. I was thinking of sharing oscillatos today, but I didn't grab any. I hold the didge a lot, so I sometimes combine with one hand. Let me know what you actually mean by how do I do it. Do you mean what rhythms I play, or how I set myself up, or how I rip my brain in half to do one half my brain oscillatos and one half... let's get back here. Sorry about that. How do you mean? Do you want to go back to that rhythm? Do, di, do, e, do, do, e, do, e. There it is. Do, e, do, e, do, do, e, do, e. Do, breathe, e, do, breathe, e, do, do, e, do, e. Do, e, breathe, do, e, breathe, do, e, do, e. Maybe I won't teach that one today. That's really funny. Of all the times I've been able to break down a million different things, today is not the day for that rhythm. Awesome. I'm going to go find some oscillados, in case anyone here doesn't know what they are. And I'm also going to do a little bit of shameless self-promotion here. If you join my email list, you get this deal. 50% off the complete course. So the complete course is about $400 and will eventually be $400 when I reopen registration at the end of the month. Right now it's not publicly open, but if you go to my course and use the code half off, you'll get 50% off. So instead of just about $400, it'll be $198. Module 1 is all the basic sounds. Module 2 is circular breathing, and I'll be adding a new section soon for jaw and throat breathing. 3 is rhythm and sound, so a bunch of interesting sounds like the Toots, a bunch of interesting rhythms like some of the ones I shared today, and the one that I just tried to teach but couldn't, and more. Module 4 is advanced techniques like the in-breath Toots, faster rhythms like takawaka, and beyond, really taking your playing to a whole new level, and how to approach building rhythms. That's actually sprinkled throughout the course. Kim is taking the circular breathing workshop and is a private student. Hope you don't mind me mentioning that, Kim, but she thought the circular breathing section was pretty cool. I don't know if you want to speak to that at all. And I will find some oscillados. Be right back. All right, that was easy. Okay. So in advanced is actually still, I'm still creating it. Thanks for the question, Didgeridoo. Advanced is going to be all of the things that I think advanced players need to know. So I'll be focusing a lot on the throat, a lot on the shape of the mouth, as many interesting rhythms as I can come up with and share and teach and break down. In-breath toot, adding more percussive sounds. So that kind of thing. How to build speed. So there'll be a lot in advanced, and it's mostly not filmed yet. So the complete course gives you the chance to see it as I'm creating it and offer feedback and suggestions, and I'll help you directly. My promise to all my first students is that we can meet on Skype and I'll actually go over any questions or issues you have. So you get a bit of private help this time around. Future students will still get some help, but I won't necessarily meet with them all one-on-one on Skype. So, oscillados, here we go. These are the oscillados. Comes from the Oncoba spinosa tree of West Africa, although these are actually hemp. I have the natural ones, but I like playing these more. These are from Japan, where it's super popular. Tel Aviv, yeah, that's the other word, Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv, kes, kashaka, oscillado, oscillatua, oscillatoire. Oscillado or oscillatoire just means snuff box. They use these for carrying snuff around. So as a shaker, They sound like this. But they get really interesting once you start letting them bounce. Haven't practiced these in a while, actually. So, it's basically a shaking motion, a 1-2 motion, and then you can do different polyrhythms and different times. So, one hand, for example, can be a 3-count rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The other hand can be 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Put those together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1. 1. There's some really interesting things, thanks everyone, really interesting things. In Japan they call this the, oh no, what's it called? There are these extra little clicks that I can add in here for more sound. Usually I just catch it and it's like this. So then they add this click that they call okazu. And then they add a second one, which they call click. It's kind of like the bounce breath of oscillatos, the way it bounces off of itself. If I get both going. No click or okazu. Clicks. So that's some of what can be done with these. They can switch in my grip. So, with the didge, first thing I would do is just get shaking. Alright, bounce these. Any of you can do this with any shaker, really. Just this basic motion of up and down and up and down, up and down and up and down. With the oscillatos, it's just more level. If I'm playing in a 4/4 time, then it would be hit and catch, hit and catch, hit and catch. But if we do the 3-count one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, it's got to be a different rhythm. Two-wah-ha is good for that. Two-wah-ha, 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 two-wah-ha. A little hard to do slowly. tuaha dee 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 tuaha dee do tuaha dee 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 tuaha dee do. Does that answer your question? That's how I would use the oscillatos while playing Didge. Now I need some water. All right. I'm just gonna look down here, see if I have any other slides I wanted to share. Oh, here's a good one. Here's a picture of the throat. Check out that back opening, F-A-U-C-E, fauces. Looks like fauces. That's what you're opening and closing. And I don't know if that's actually the best picture of the tongue, because the tongue does go down the throat. So when you close the throat, you're closing it on the tongue. I like pictures like this because they show you what's going on. And so if you know what you're using, what you're moving, then you have a better chance of actually using it. So you're basically trying to close the pharynx area, but it's really between the uvula, these are all on the left side, the uvula and the epiglottis, that word's on the right side. You're trying to close that all up with the throat. It's this motion. I never thought I'd be showing my throat on video to people on the other side of the world. Sandra, it's okay if it's too much. It's too much for me too to do it very much. It hurts my brain. I haven't practiced much shaking or drumming or other things with Didge. I really focus on the Didge. One thing I notice is that when people combine different instruments, each instrument's play level, tends to drop a little bit. So, oh no, I showed a picture of the throat and lost 3 people. What happened? Oops. That's too bad. Okay, that's cool. Have I made any Didges? I sadly have not made any Didges yet. I really want to. I think the day I build and play my own Didge is going to be so exciting. So I have a friend and roommate who builds steel tongue drums. If you check out Kindred Spirit Drums online, you can see what he builds. He has a wood shop, and we've talked about building some Didges, so it will happen eventually. Agave, yeah. Agave is what I would probably build to start with. I used to have a 7-foot long agave Didge, which I sold. I still have an awesome yucca. Oh wait, here's a cool Didge. Hold on, I'll put up another slide so I don't totally disappear on you guys. Here's an agave Didge, which I call the alien Didge. Whoops. All right. At the same Didgeridoo festival where I first saw Dan Flynn, I saw this Didge and played it, and it was awesome, but I didn't want to buy it. And then I saw it again a year later, and I still didn't buy it. And then I went and hung out with the woman who was selling it for someone else, and she still had it, so I was like, is this for sale? She was like, yeah. This is the alien Didge. This is agave. It's my weirdest looking Didge. It's nice and light and small and short, so I can play it in a bathtub. Ooh, and it's really good for the throat thing. That's the alien didge. Oh, the link for the tank drums. Here, I will see. So Kindred, you have to look this up on YouTube. Kindred Spirit Drums. And the website is just kindredspiritdrums.com. See if that shows up. They're super beautiful. He does a really beautiful powder coat, actually, that melts. So you spray the drum with this colorful powder, bake it in an oven, and it all melts into this beautiful shiny color. You're welcome, Kim. Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you at our next session, and the next time we're on live chat. Thanks for joining us. Please send me any questions that come up for you. What's my favorite didge if I could only have one? That's a hard question. It tends to be moment by moment. Different didges play differently. They suit my different moods. Wow. Let's say I was going to sell all my didgeridoos and go traveling. I've thought about this before. I would take my wood slide didge because it can play in any note. It collapses down, fairly small, and it has a pretty good sound. But yeah, portability is a key too. I'm just thinking about the other didges. The Dan Flynn didge is awesome. Kind of unrealistic to carry around. Has very specific character and playing style. It really wants to play Toots. It wants to play drop octave. It wants to play fast. It's a fast didge. This one I was playing earlier is my favorite of the moment. It's because it matches the playing style I've been exploring. This one here has a great sound. It's very smooth. Yeah, this one's really nice. If my house is on fire, which do I grab first? Yeah, that's a good question. Well, I have two hands, so I could grab two didges, or maybe a didge and some clothes. I forgot to answer one of your questions about the throat and integrating other things like the cheek. So what if I'm just playing a throat rhythm? I do that sometimes with the cheeks now. This really big puff and squeeze. Yeah, I definitely integrate the jaw and the cheeks. The thing is, if you learn more technique, you can integrate it throughout your playing. If anyone is curious about the snare sound, then let me know. We'll go over the snare sound a little bit. I'm just double checking to make sure we didn't lose anyone at the other spot. No, we're good still. Okay. I want to know if any of you have a snare sound that's working really well. If you have a technique to share, maybe you could share it in a video, post it on YouTube, and then tag me however that works. Here's the problem I found with snare. Snare is a big burst of air, or, and I'm still working on all these. So when I'm playing, it tends to mess up the drone. It breaks the drone. The drone actually stops. So I had to switch to a sound that wouldn't push so much air through my lips and stop them from vibrating. So I came up with, it's a little bit like suction pressure. Oh yeah, breath in snare. That's a whole other story, but that's good too. Oops, that's not it. Something like that. I want a snare that works in the drone. So I just started trying while playing the drum. There's that cheek wobble. Open drone playing gives room for breath and snare while drone. I'll email you a bit. That would be awesome. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you mean by this open drone. Open drone. Oh wait. Open, as in the mouth isn't totally on the didge. Now you guys are teaching me. Thank you so much. I love it. Mouth on didge, mouth wide open. This to me is wide open. So it's not... One thing I've definitely played with is opening my mouth to the side a little bit. Like out this way. That's interesting. Or just pulling away. I'm not a beatboxer, but I really like percussive sounds, so it'd be great to get this one day. So big open mouth, like a big O. I don't know. I'll wait for that video. If you want to, where is your video? Is it on YouTube? If it's on YouTube, then you could potentially put a link right here, or put the link in the comments of this video once it goes up. Practice. Yeah, practice. My own advice, which I posted recently. Persistence and practice. That's the only way. Persistence and practice. Hey, we're getting down to the last 10 minutes of this chat before I have to go. As always, I really love hanging out with you guys, even if I can't see you yet. I'll make it my goal to come up with a way for us to see each other next time and for you guys to share your playing. Hope you like that idea. You don't post your tutorials. All good. You don't have to do tutorials. You can just, show it a few times. I'll look up Didgeridoo. Okay, awesome. Remember to stay in touch. Like my Facebook page. Help me reach 200 likes this month. That would be awesome. Just look up Breathwood on Facebook. A couple other things. Sign up for my email list. I'll send you updates about live streams, deals on the course or new modules, new videos, if I'm ever going to be traveling and teaching. I'd love to have you all on my list and on my Facebook page, and at some point I think I'll have to do a group so we can share all of this information a little bit more easily. Here's what the course page looks like. Didgeridoo.teachable.com. There's the complete course with modules 1 through 4. You can buy the modules individually, and I'm working on a 5th module, which is all about basically listen and repeat. So I play a phrase, you play a phrase, I play a phrase, you play a phrase, and you just do it on the fly. So an example of that is something like do, dee, do, dee, do, 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 dee, 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 do, do, dee, dee, do, dee, dee, do. So rhythms that are fairly simple to more complex ones. Go, giko, giko, go, giko, giko. Do-wa-e, do-wa-e, do-wa-e. So a whole section devoted just to call and response. That's the word I was looking for. So that'll be module 5. Plus I'll be doing just some improv and explorations of other sounds and rhythms in a second section. You can watch those for inspiration. Comment below the video which section do you want to learn, and then I'll teach it to you. So that's module 5. And here's the code if you want to sign up for the complete course and get half off. This is for email list subscribers only, or you guys, since you're now seeing it. And actually, anyone who watches this video later will see this code. I'll have to figure out what to do about that later. I guess I can invite them to be email subscribers. Eventually this code will stop working. I only have a few that I've opened up on the course. There are about 5, I believe. So half off. Any final questions? Anything you guys want to share? It's been super fun hanging out with you. I love this stuff. I would love to, what would be cool is to set up a space where people can just come and do Didge every day. That would make me so happy. Thanks for the time. You're welcome. No worries about Facebook. It's all good if you're not on Facebook. Don't worry about joining or not. There are a lot of festivals around the Vancouver and BC area. Yeah, super beautiful ones. One is called Blessed Coast. I played there last year. Don't know if I'll be playing there this year. Another one is called Luminosity. Sweet little small electronic music festival. And there are many more, actually. Down in Oregon, Indigenous. That's where I kind of feel like I was born as a Didge player. I learned how to play in December, and I went to Indigenous the following August and really learned a lot. So check those out, look those up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. You'll get new videos faster that way. And any suggestions you have for how to help and get the word out that I exist would be awesome. I love teaching private lessons. I love doing Skype lessons. I love doing workshops. I love traveling to teach. So all of those things I'm really interested in. So I'm planting those seeds in your brains. What would it take to get me to come to you to facilitate a workshop? And it's good to remember that I'm not the expert. I'm just good at teaching and facilitating. One of my favorite workshops at Indigenous was when a bunch of us showed up but the teacher didn't. So I invited everyone to share one thing they were working on. And I actually learned more in that workshop than I did from workshops by professional players and teachers. So that was interesting. All right. So if you're at Indigenous, Nick, then I'll probably see you there. Sandra, thank you so much for your enthusiasm and support. You've been really awesome with all of your comments and presence. And it's nice to have people out there who are kind of like cheerleaders and supporters. It's what helps me keep going. I'll share this as much as I can. I would do it as a full-time job if it paid the bills. I'll just keep going as long as I can. And I'm glad you got a bunch of new ideas. Thanks for watching. And if you ever need more ideas, check out the course. Keep watching YouTube, and that's about it for me at the moment. Yeah, well, think about workshops in your town. Generally, depending on the workshop cost, let's say it's $50 and you get 20 people, that's $1,000, and that's enough to fly to most places in the world and still have some money left over. If it's a couple day workshop, then it's more like $200, 20 people. It's a good amount of money, not just to fly me there, but to cover all the costs, food and all that, and to make something on top of that. So in the range of $50 to $200 for a weekend day or 2 day workshop, where I share my skills and tips, but also help you facilitate each other's learning and help you build a community that teaches itself. We can do this anywhere in the world. So all you need is some people, a community, and enough interest, and we'll make it happen. I'm free anytime. So how about I play a little bit just to finish things up? I'm going to play just a little bit of an improv. Let's see. It's always interesting to play on the spot. On the spot. So one of my approaches is not even rhythmic. It doesn't start with rhythm. It starts with a feeling. And the feeling I always want to share whenever I do these live chats is gratitude. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening and asking questions. I love your questions and engagement. So I'm going to play whatever comes through the Didge with gratitude. says something. My lips are failing right now. I guess I've been playing a lot. You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Oh, here's my email address. If you ever have questions or want to stay in touch, email me. I love to get emails and questions. Send me links and resources. Thank you, thank you, thank you all. So much gratitude. See you next time, probably in about 2 weeks. And I might change the time for people in other time zones. So it might not be the same time. It might be afternoon or evening for me. So I imagine late night or early morning for you. So some of you, those of you who are in Europe at least, and others, we'll see. Thanks again. I'm going to sign off now. It's been a pleasure. Take care. Happy playing.